We'd like to warmly welcome everyone and thank you for attending the Microsoft 365 biweekly community call. Today is July 22nd. I'm David Warner, Principal Consultant with Catapult Systems and PnP team member and your host for today's call. Our agenda for today includes reviewing the updates for our Patterns and Practices community. We're going to see some of the latest and greatest on all the initiatives. A number of samples to review today, and thank you all for your contributions. We'll have picture time, and then we're going to have 3 amazing demos by our stars of the day, Natalie, Marcus, and Satya. To get started, let's begin talking about the opportunities that you have to participate in the community. We invite you to demo a solution or technical pattern. This could be a sample, this could be a technique, but we invite you to do it. It is an open source and inclusive community, so we absolutely would love to see what you're working on in your professional lives or your passionate side of the community. You could, of course, contribute to GitHub. We have a number of samples that we'll cover today and review that you're allowed and we invite you to contribute to. In fact, we will assist you with that if you would like to, but it's a little new for you. So please don't hesitate to take advantage of those opportunities. And of course, provide feedback. We'd love to hear what you want to see getting better. What are some of the areas that you enjoy? Positive feedback, positive critical feedback. We invite all of it. We'd love to hear your voice. There are a number of resources available to you, as Patrick calls this, our Page-O links. So there's Microsoft 365 developer videos and community videos. You can get to those at aka.ms, M365 Dev YouTube, or M365 PnP/videos. That is our MCU. You may have thought Marvel Cinematic Universe. Nope, Microsoft Cinematic Universe. So take advantage of all the stories that are available there and take advantage of learning. We absolutely love and want to encourage you to actually contribute as well. There's a number of open source repositories, as mentioned. You can see those links there: PnP, SharePoint, Office Dev, Microsoft Graph. A number of areas where you can collaborate and learn more about all the information that is available to the community, as well as sample galleries. We're going to see a number of references to these today. Team samples, SPFX web parts and extension samples, Power Platform samples, list formatting samples. These are all open source. They are all able and open for you to contribute to. So we invite you to please take some time when you're working on something and you'd like to share it with the community. Think about how you could actually contribute to these repositories and share it with the world. It is an open source community, and so we're always continuing to progress by helping one another. And if you are not sure how to do that, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the one and only and primary URL that you need to remember, so you don't remember all of these, is aka.ms/M365PnP. That is our primary landing page and is where you can get access to all of the tools and resources that we've already identified. We're in the middle of summer, so it's important to keep in mind that we're adjusting the calendars. There's a summer break on all of those monthly community calls. We're going to see a shift on how they're going to be adjusted starting on the 31st of August. So a number of those calls that we had seen individually, things like our monthly call, the teams, they're going to be concatenated together and grouped into a single call on Tuesdays. So that's going to happen every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Pacific time. We're still going to have our Patterns and Practices calls just like we are attending now. So the SPFX development one and general development one, like you're attending here today, will still persist on Thursdays every other week, which ends up being every week. And then we'll have our engineering call on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. Now you can go get the AKA or the ICS file or the calendar invite for that immediately. So if you go to our primary landing page, that is available for you to take advantage of now. So you can get that pre-loaded into your calendar so you're ready when those calls begin. We have Extensibility Lookbook Gallery available to you. We've been talking about this for a few weeks now. This is showing how you can take advantage of all of the tools and resources and extend the experience for your users and your organization of the Microsoft 365 environments. And so take a look at this. It really goes a great way. It's similar to the SharePoint Lookbook on how you can extend that experience within the Microsoft 365 ecosystem using all of the different extensibility options available to you, maybe in some ways that you didn't even know were possible. So take advantage of that and take a look. It's a great resource. Next is Teams samples. We're going to get a little deeper into the samples that have been created since the last opportunity, but we just wanted to mention that these are available for everyone to take advantage of, aka.ms/team samples. And one of the newer repositories that are available to us is the script samples. Paul, would you like to tell us a little bit about this?
Hey everybody, Script Samples is a site for sharing scripts that you'd use for automating tasks in 365. So this includes examples of CLI for Microsoft 365, whether that's Bash or PowerShell, PnP PowerShell scripts, SPA management shell. I'd like to thank all those that have contributed to the initiative. You're absolutely awesome. And if you would like to contribute, there is a guidance on the site. However, if you feel free to reach out to me by Twitter, issues list, ping, chat, pigeon, carrier, then I'd be happy to help. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thanks, Paul. And you're going to find that there are a number of opportunities for you to contribute to today. So let's talk about how you can do that. We have a Sharing is Caring initiative, which will walk you through a number of these opportunities, whether it's just starting to use some of these resources or wanting to contribute back to these resources, but you're not quite sure how to accomplish something like your first pull request or how to interact with GitHub. Or for example, maybe you're going to present on a call and you're a little nervous. You're not quite sure you'd like some tips and tricks. We have a first-time presenter session. A number of topics here that range the spectrum of technical and non-technical, so we invite you to take advantage of all these session topics. We have more coming soon in SPFX samples and Power Platform, and we've really had a lot of positive reaction to the Ask Me Anything series. It's a different group within Microsoft and the Patterns and Practices team coming in to answer any questions that you may have. It's a great opportunity to collaborate with one another, and the Power Platform topic has been set for September, so we're going to have April Dunham and a number of other Power Platform stars for you to collaborate with and ask questions to. Again, this is safe space, not recorded. They're absolutely free. They're hands-on, so we invite you to take advantage of that. aka.ms/sharing is caring. Now, what is it that you might get by taking advantage of contributing to these resources? Well, we've launched our new PnP Recognition Program. Now, this is a program that's going to recognize you on a more formal way for what it is that you're contributing to the community with. So it could be documentation, it could be presenting. They are powered by Credly. We're going to be providing you digital badges, and as I've mentioned before, it's a new program for us, and it's all kind of manual based, so be patient with us as we get these handed out. We're going to be working on some of those contributors for June, but we are so encouraged and inspired by all of your contributions that we wanted to really step it up to a more formal way, recognizing you and celebrating your contributions. So we do need you to opt in and register for that. You can do that at aka.ms/m365pnp-recognition. That allows us to tie you and your contributions back to an account that we can have Credly send you that badge for and the badges. And we're going to have more coming up as the year goes on, some campaigns, some fun opportunities. Let's move into the PnP.NET libraries. I think we have Paolo to cover this. Paolo.
Yes, thank you, David. Well, we are on a summer break right now, so we are slowing down a little bit the development of the PnP libraries, but still we are working on the new schema, the version 2021-03, which we released a few weeks ago, and now we are working on making it available as a whole implementation in the PnP framework library for the provisioning engine. And as I said already a couple of weeks ago, we are really looking for people willing to help us building this new release of the provisioning engine. So don't be shy and let us know if you have time and availability to help us developing this part of the story. About the PnP Core SDK, we are on a summer break as well. Actually, we have been working quite heavily on a new project on top of PnP Core, which will be the renewed version of the modernization framework, which will be called the transformation framework. But right now, thinking about the basic functionalities of the Core SDK, we're just fixing stuff and managing PRs, if any. But right now, we don't have any open PR so far. Thank you, David.
All right, thanks. And then moving into PnP PowerShell.
Yeah, I'll take this one as well because Erwin today is not together with us. So right now we have, from a PnP PowerShell point of view, version 1.6 released. And something that I really want you to know is that there is an issue with the get PnP tenant side commandlet due to some CSOM updates. So if you really need to use that commandlet right now, I would advise you to download the latest version, at least the 1.6.44 nightly, because in that one, there is a fix created by Bert. And if not, you will have to wait for the next major release of the PnP PowerShell. Aside from that, we are on summer pause and summer break.
Awesome, thank you. And then moving into Yo Teams.
Yeah, the last one, at least for me. Again, summer break, so no big news on the Yo Teams generator project, but a few weeks ago in June, Victor released version 3.2 with some great features, like, for example, the support for GitHub code spaces and some other improvements, as well as in the 3.3 preview, we have support for adaptive cards and some other cool stuff. So give an eye to Yo Teams for developing team solutions, and especially give it an eye if you want to play with the GitHub code spaces experience. Thank you, David. Back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Paolo. Lots of cool things here in Yo Teams. All right, let's move on to the Microsoft Graph Toolkit, and I believe we have Beth to cover that for us.
Yeah, thank you, David. We're making small changes and bug fixes and adding features slowly during summertime. So you can see on the latest updates, we're planning on a 2.3 release towards early August that will also introduce one of the new providers that will enable Teams SSO scenarios called Teams SSO Provider. So feel free to try out the next branch for us so that we know if there's bugs or things that you would like to add to the repo. For those of you who doesn't know what Microsoft Graph Toolkit is, it's a reusable component library and authentication providers that help you connect and work with Microsoft Graph. And our team is working really hard right now to align our component with the Fluent UI web component that was released during build. So we have very limited capacity to fix bugs and adding new features at the moment. So we're really relying on the community to help us review new specs and discussions that's listed at the Help Us Improve section. You can go look at these issues and PRs and give us feedback and help us improve. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Beth. Fancy. Moving over to Microsoft Teams samples. Bob, tell us all about it.
Hey, yeah, I obviously have a lot of time on my hands to build fun animations, but hey, I'm really excited about this this week's new samples because we have 2 new samples showcasing the new AdaptiveCard Universal Action Model. One is written in TypeScript and it's by Rabia Williams, and it's a bot that allows you to ask a question to your team or group chat, and then the teammates can respond. And, if you're not familiar, Universal Action Model allows you to have user-specific views of a card, update adaptive cards in real time, and build a sequential workflow. So that's really what both of these samples do. Also, big shout out to Nandeep, who has provided a sample based on .NET Core. So choose your favorite language and dig in on the new AdaptiveCard Universal Action Model with these 2 new samples. And please help us out by submitting your samples, big or small, at aka.ms/teamsamples.
Awesome. Thanks, Bob, and well done. Love those samples. Excellent. Very cool. Well, our newest repository on the block is our Power Platform sample.
Yep. And so, yeah, going from the fancy slide to the not as fancy, but that's okay. Yeah, so super excited to talk about the Power Platform samples. If you go to aka.ms/Power Platform-samples, you can see our brand new fancy repo and sample browser. So we have had quite a few samples already. So thank you so much to everyone that has submitted. And we welcome any samples that you all have. We have a variety of opportunities and a little something for everyone that you can submit. So we have placeholders where we can have Power Apps templates, components, connectors, custom connectors, which I know we're going to be talking about a little bit later on today. Custom functions as well. We have a lot of great custom functions for Power FX samples on the repo, and Power Automate Flow templates, Power BI dashboards, and even Power Virtual Agent. So if you have any cool samples with any of those to share, please go and contribute.
Absolutely. Awesome. Thank you, April. All right. Our favorite time of the morning in our introduction is our together mode. So feel free to turn on that camera and let's give it a wave to everyone. I'll move it here into view for us. We'll give it just a couple more minutes and we will set up that recording. Go. Give it just another moment for people to send it in, set it up. See a couple more popping in. Excellent. All right, let's give it a wave. Say everybody hello to the community. All right, excellent. Thank you, everybody. All right, well, Let's move into the stars of the day, and we're going to begin with Natalie on publishing a connector to the Power Platform. So Natalie, if you'd like to take over.
Great to see you all. Thank you for having me today. Let me share my screen now. All right. So, huge announcement. As of Monday, anyone can now submit a connector to the Power Platform. So previously, as you know, you had to own the API in order to do this, right? You had to be one of the owners. You had to be Adobe to submit an Adobe Design connector. And we heard your feedback loud and clear over the years that, why can't anyone else just submit a connector and have it be official on the Power Platform? So now you can do that. And so just to introduce myself, I am one of the program managers on the connectors team, now called the Ecosystem Integrations team within the Power Platform. And I'm also joined here today with Woong Choi, who's actually one of the first independent publishers to our platform. So just to show off his connector and, ask about his experience and how it went so far so you can all learn from it. So the mission of the Independent Publisher Connector Group is to bring the best together, the best people, connecting great ideas to data, apps, and flows, right? So we want to go beyond the limitation of allowing only API owners to submit. We want anyone to be able to submit, of course, as long as, it's properly tested and it's validated, and we do all that work as the connector certification team. And we also want to make it easier for connector developers to collaborate on connectors, right? Today, you kind of have to download it and send it via email. But now you can just, collaborate straight within the GitHub repository that we have today. And so the goals and the benefits of the program, right? You get to gain your name, or, if you decide to put your consulting company's name or any other publisher name that you can provide, you can gain visibility across all Power Platform products, documentation, demos, videos, blogs, social media posts. So your name will make a lot of noise here, of course. And you also get the maintainer rights for the connector. So you're one of the people who officially owns the code that you're submitting, which is pretty awesome. And of course, like I mentioned, share and collaborate on building custom connectors. You get the official stamp of approval that your connector has been validated, tested, and is, we trust this connector and that anyone can use it. And of course, this is an open source contribution. So if you're in a Microsoft MVP, your contributions will count here as well. Cool. So let's go straight into the demo just to show you all what it looks like in the product. And the common misconception here is oh, do I have to download something, right? The great thing is these are actually officially added. They all have the same generic icon, and they all have independent publisher within parentheses right after them, which is pretty darn awesome. And you can always see them within the recently added connectors page. So the connector page itself will look something like this, and we're planning to grow this significantly. You'll see in my next couple of slides, we're going to add a view and submit reviews system so that people can submit reviews for your connector. Also, showing the usage just to get makers excited about using this connector so that you can drive that usage up, as well as you can go straight into GitHub. And soon we'll also be adding a submit an issue button within this page for people who aren't comfortable with GitHub and want to submit the issue right away. Okay. And in terms of how they show up straight within the product, so again, you don't have to download or anything. Just type in, let's say, Airtable. Just doing this for the purpose just to show you what it looks like, right? So you have the Airtable connector. Let's say we want to create a record for the purpose of this flow. You'll see it like this. You have the published by, and we have Woong here. And all this other information, whether it's a description about the connector, when it was last updated, you can see it in GitHub, so on and so forth. And it's all under the MIT license. So Woong, just wanted to give you a chance to, introduce yourself and, share any tips that you had during the development of the connector phase and the certification phase.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Woong Choi from Seven Sigma, working as a Power Platform developer in Seven Sigma for 1.5 years, almost. Yep. And yeah, I got across with Natalie and get a chance to create this connector and show it to the public so people can use it freely. That's the brief. Natalie, any questions you had?
Yeah, how does it feel to have your name in there?
It's very good, and I'm a bit nervous because there's a lot of people in this call. Even though I can't say it, I can still feel the pressure. So yeah, it's just great. I always like to contribute to the community that people can use it, because some people not comfortable with the technology, or they are like they can't have much time on spending all this stuff. It's always been great to contribute to this community that so many people can use it.
Thank you. Awesome. All right, so now let's just show a really quick, just the Power Platform connectors repository has a specific folder for independent publisher connectors, and you see some of them posted here. And we have a description of the directory, the best practices, information on contributing, and we're only going to add more and more links here, especially to documentation that we have, right? So we have the typical create a custom connector from scratch documentation, but then in terms of, the certification process and submitting and all best practices, you can also find that now in a new link called Independent Publisher Certification Process within Certify Your Connector, which is pretty awesome. Great. So let's go back to the presentation. So we did both of the demos. And so currently in production, we have 7 you can find, all by these incredible people. And coming soon, we already have a number in queue as PRs in GitHub. We have some funny connectors as well. I heard dad jokes in the beginning of the call. There will be a dad jokes connector on its way as well, which is pretty exciting. So we have a lot of fun things coming along, and of course, like any other submissions that we receive, but this is what we have in the pipeline so far, which is pretty darn awesome. And what's next? Like I said, we're only going to keep improving to the certification experience based on feedback that we receive from publishers. Publishers are the ones, essentially also driving this and helping along the way, which is great. Then we also will have more additions to the connector page UI, the submit and issue button, ability to submit and review connectors, usage telemetry, so on and so forth, monthly blogs and social media engagements. And then I put this temporarily, but we'll have more information coming along the way. There will be a new community call, which I'm working with April on. So that's coming. Nothing's finalized yet, but we're on their way. So you'll hear more soon, and more incentives, especially as we keep hearing back from the community. We keep hearing the feedback. We are open to anything. This is just phase 1 of the program. So we're really interested in seeing what you might all need from us and to help this grow even better. So if you have a custom connector you've built, whether you built it like a long time ago and you probably forgot about it, but you want to publish it, publish it on GitHub today, or if you have so that it can actually show up within the product, right? So people don't have to download it or anything like that, right? The whole purpose of this is to make it a lot easier and to get your name on there. If you don't know which connectors to build, the same link about GitHub is also will be on the last slide or is in all the blogs as well. And yeah, so here are all the more information that you can see, and I think David posts them all, which is great. And that concludes my demo. So thank you everyone for having me, and you can always reach out to me about any questions. And we also have a program called the Project Coordinators who are part of this program. And so a couple of those have already submitted connectors here. So Daniel, Paul is part of it as well, April, Ahmad Najjar and Rebecca Albers and Fausto, which maybe are some names that you've heard in the past. They're also very deeply involved and very gracious for all of their involvement and help throughout this project. So yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Thank you, Natalie, and thank you, Wong. Appreciate you joining us today. And just a mention on that community call that Natalie was referencing, the Power Platform Dev community call starting August 25th at 8 a.m. Keep a lookout on our calendar there on the M365 Patterns and Practices landing page where we have all of the other community call listings. We will add it there so you'll be able to get to the recurring calendar invite as well as the direct Teams link to join the call on demand. So again, thank you both very much. All right, Marcus, next up on our demos for today, how to update an AdaptiveCard with the Teams message extension and message preview. So take it away.
Exactly. This is my topic. Short intro on myself. I think most of you know me already, even presenting 2 weeks ago. So Markus Möller, Microsoft 365 developer expert from Avanade in Germany. Contact me on Twitter or over my blog if you like. And today, no big introduction. Let's directly jump into the demo. The Teams messaging extension, hosting an AdaptiveCard and update it. So first, I want to show you the quick introduction from my last demo again, where I was picking a document and posting it as an AdaptiveCard. And what you can see when you do it, this is the normal way, is that you only post this AdaptiveCard to the compose box. You can still write something. You can also remove it again if you like. And you have to finally send it to the message channel, which then, in the end, it turns out that you, as a person, sent this message. If you want to update those cards, you need to do it different. And this is what I want to show you today. And therefore, I have a different messaging extension here. And this is based on the very basic demo scenario you get implemented once you establish an action-based messaging extension with the Yeoman Teams generator, which will first ask you for an email. And once you submit this, you would normally come back with an AdaptiveCard in your compose box, as you have just seen. But I changed it, and so today we are coming into this message preview window where we can either edit it, which does in fact mean that we will jump back to our email address entry, or we can say we are fine with this card and we can send it. And if we do that, then there we are. Then we see that now we have no compose box anymore, and we directly have a send message based on our bot channel account. Yeah, and this enables us to, for instance, click on a button, and this button will finally change the card under the hood. And here we can now do this again and again and again and again. So this is the very basic and simple scenario, just edited in a way that we can update it. So how does this look like in code? Or let's first have a look at how the process is running. Yeah. So when we kick off our messaging extension from the start, we first get a random picture here. And this random picture, together with the email, will be posted to our preview. Yeah? And the preview, we can either accept it or not. If we do not this, we will get back here. If we accept it, we will post an AdaptiveCard. And this AdaptiveCard will finally occur here in our front-end message channel. And then we can update this. This will be, we can update it, and this will then run back into our bot channel where we will go back and post an updated card again. Yeah. As an alternative, when you have a workflow, so I will show you a sample at the very end in some cards. You can also, of course, terminate this endless process. In my case, you can vote as long as you like, but normally you might have some workflows where you might review something, and once this is reviewed, you can also come to an end finally. Yeah? And then you will not have a button anymore in this card, and then you cannot update it anymore. Okay, how does this look like in code? The first two functions, what we have here in our messaging extension middleware class, that one. The first thing is quite simple. The first thing, the function on fetch task, I did not really change it. This is simply responsible for the initial task module where I had to enter my email address, and there it is returned. And this is the page that is rendered when we click on this little icon here. Once we submit this first task module, entering an email address and clicking OK, then it comes to a differentiator. Normally, we would still create an adaptive card, but then we now return it as a bot message preview type and with an activity preview, which which is included our card here. And this is a difference. This comes to the window that you have to either edit or to send the card in the preview. As I have to update the card, I can clearly recommend to create a service for that. I did this here because on the one hand, I have a card. This is above here. I shortened it a bit because I think you can imagine the card was quite simple. And then I'm having a function called get the initial card. Yeah, this is a very basic card with a vote of null, the email address, and so on. And here you can also see the URL with the random picture, from the demo scenario maybe, which is implemented in your Teams your Teams generator solution already. So that you might change, the picture might change in different examples at different runtimes. The next thing is, what's important is when we either click on the send or on the edit button, we have two functions here that will do the result, or with that will handle that. The first is the send button, where we simply get the variables. Here we get our variables from the attachment content. We then create a card. The initial null value, and then we send this as an activity back, and this will now finally directly post the card to the message channel and not coming to a compose box or something like that. In the opposite, if someone clicks on edit, we will simply return the same input form again, like we already did on the path screen from the initial one. And then in that case, we might already grab, in my case, in my example, another photo, for instance, if we are not satisfied with that one. Final thing to show, well, the post-final thing to show is what happens when you click on the vote button. The first difference is that we have to change the class now, because this event is not handled in our middleware class, which we had before. Now we have to switch to our bot Teams activity handler class. And there we have to implement the handle Teams task module fetch. And this will again receive all our values from the existing message and from the existing card, so that we keep our email, that we also keep the photo URL, or we also have to grab the existing number of votes. Then we will increment the votes. We will construct a new card with the new or existing values, depending on, so email URL doesn't change, new votes did, of course. And then we also have to identify the existing message, and this we can do from the reply to ID variable. And then we can finally update the message with context update activity. Only for completeness reasons, increment votes is quite the same than the initial card. The only thing is that we now use a new number. Yeah, and this is what we will write here into our card. And this is what I was using several times. And this is still in my AdaptiveCard service I created for that. This is better than to recreate the cards in directly in code. Yeah? But that's all from the code base. Last not least, here the URLs, it's my blog post on that sample, and also the sample in the PnP Teams gallery sample template. And last not least, as this is a very brief sample, we can also give you another example where you can see how you could use this in different things. Yeah, for instance, if you assume you have a document and review that, once this is reviewed, you can have a different button, and you can also put in some additional values, who reviewed that by when, and then when the approval workflow is finally done, you can also remove all the kind of buttons, only have a view have the data. This is another sample where you could use this technology for. But that's from my side.
Awesome. Thank you, Marcus. Very, very cool stuff. Really appreciate you taking some time to share that with the community today. All right. We can now move into our last demo of the call, Satya, on the topic of Teams interop with call routing. Feel free to take on over.
Thank you, David. And thank you for the wonderful demo. As part of today's sample app showcase, I would like to present a sample app that highlights the interoperability between ACS and Teams over a video call. For those who are new to the term ACS, ACS stands for Azure Communication Services. They are cloud-based services providing REST APIs and SDKs as well, available for you to integrate a communication layer to any application that you build. This can include voice and video calling, rich text, chat, and SMS as well. With ACS, you can add these features to your applications. It can be a web app, it can be mobile app, whatever application it is. You can integrate these features easily and in a very secure and scalable manner. It comes with its own security. It comes with its own security layer, very similar to what we have in Teams meetings. So this is very beneficial. And the developers typically do not need to know real-time networking, do not need to know media encoding to actually build a video call layer on top of your application. You can simply use ACS. So coming to our specific app, right? The sample app that we have brings together two sets of users, two users type. On one hand, we have a citizen user who gets on a call via ACS with no login or credentials. On the other end, we have a business user who gets on the same call using Teams with their business license. So this sample app demonstrates a way of how these two users can get on a same call and have a voice and video communication between them. The app, as I said, allows to perform voice and video call and screen share. The sample app that we currently are going to present now has voice and video call and screen share as well. You also have the ability to have chat as well integrated with it, but the sample app does not present that part, but it's available as part of the SDK in case you want to build that as well. Now, as part of the app capabilities, there are two modes of operation using which I will demo you through the app. The first mode of operation is requesting a callback. Think of, for the sake of the demo, let's take a particular scenario of a citizen user. By citizen user, what I mean is a regular user who is not, who might not have a Teams app or who might not have a Teams license. A citizen user wants to get in touch with a support agent who is a business user, right? The business user, the support agent, will typically have a Teams license or a Teams app installed or a Teams and desktop and so on. So in the request a call back, this citizen user requests a call back from the support agent. The user submits their queries, say in a website or somewhere, and then waits for the agent to get back to them. That's the first flow. In the second part, the second mode of operation, let's say we have an impatient citizen user who might have like a really urgent query, really urgent thing that they would want to get it resolved right away. So what they do is this app also caters to those sets of users where it allows them to place a call instead of being reactive. The app allows them to place a call, and the app itself finds a support agent who is available at the time of placing the call. So both of these modes of operation is something that we can see today. In both these cases, for our purpose, we are using the ACS JavaScript web SDK. There are Android and iOS SDK as well, but in this case, for this particular sample app, we have made use of JavaScript web SDK only. With that, I would start with the demo. Yeah, as you can see over here, the left side of the screen is a mobile, basically a web browser opened using a mobile. And on the right side is where you have the business user. As the flow starts, you have the citizen user on the left side interacting in the browser. They type help, and then they get like a small form kind of fashion where they're able to enter their initial details and then a particular query that they want to ask the support agent, and they click on submit on the left side. As soon as the submitted, you see on the right side, this request gets sent as an AdaptiveCard on the right. So this is basically a team. As you can see over here, it's a team, and the card with the information that you saw over here gets posted as an adaptive card. And like you saw in the previous demo, the bot posts it over here. And the bot, basically the ACS sample bot, posts this over here. And we can imagine like all the support agents are part of this particular team and channel. And anyone who is available, they can click on accept and then get in touch with this particular customer. So in this case, a particular particular agent clicks on accept. And as soon as they click on accept, as you can see on the left side, you can see there is a meeting join link that comes up over here. On clicking of which, both parties, like on clicking on the right side, the business user gets on the call on team side, whereas on the left, if you see when they clicked on the meeting joint link, a custom UI appears. Now this is the ACS part kicking in. So this is a custom UI where it mimics the Teams joining interface, but this works completely in the web browser. So as you can see, they can enter some preliminary information, some identifying information for their name, and then enable their camera and microphone, and then they'll be able to join. And as they join, they get shown on the lobby because of the org settings. They get shown on the lobby, and then this particular user will be able to admit them into the call. And as you can see, when they get admitted, both parties will be able to see each other once they turn on the video. Yeah. So this is ACS in action. The key point to note over here is this is completely web-based. In case you don't have ACS over here, what would have happened is when they clicked on the join link on this mobile, they would have been prompted to download the Teams app, and they would have to download the Teams app and then do the same set of activities. Because we have ACS integration in the web browser, they are able to get on a call directly in the web browser, and they did not have to download Teams app just to join the call. The second flow that I was talking about is placing a call. So as you can see in this particular flow where we are placing an urgent request, the citizen user presses on place a call, and they immediately get a join meeting link. So they immediately get a join meeting link. Now, on the other end, what we have done is we wanted to not just show capabilities of ACS, we want to take it up a notch and also show calling and meeting bot. Now, what happened over here is when they clicked on place a call, a bot came to life, and then it starts calling agents in a particular order. Now, this is the profile of one agent, Mangodev, and the bot proactively calls this particular person. Now, imagine Mangodev is not at his desk, out for coffee, so the bot calls, say, 15 seconds, and then it goes off. It recognizes no one picks up the call, and then it would go to the next available agent. So basically, the next agent, it will try to ping them. So the first person, Mangodev, didn't pick up the call. Now you have Alex Wilbur. So the bot will try to call Alex now. The same bot is calling Alex over here, but in this case, Alex is busy. He's tending to say another customer, or busy in another call, or busy in some other work. So he decides to reject the call over here. The bot also understands when the call is rejected. Now it will go to the next agent. Now we have Ben Walters who is available, and Ben Walters is going to accept the call over here. Say Ben clicks on accept, and this is basically the citizen user side of things. This is the same UI you would have seen in the previous demo. Now, in the rest of the things is very similar to what you saw earlier in the request to call flow. The difference in this particular one is the bot does the intelligent job of finding who is the available agent, and if they're not available, it will go on to the next person and then get them together into the same meeting. Just to show different ways in this would work, the same thing would basically the same kind of like a meeting works in this space as well. Whereas here the citizen user is using the web browser in a laptop, whereas in the previous demo you saw the web browser being used in a mobile. Now, in the same experience, everything else remains the same, just that the bot also has joined the call. So the bot has access to the media and basically the video and audio streams, and can listen into the call and can do any kind of intelligent stuff that you can imagine. Say it can intelligently pick up keywords and summarize the notes, or proactively ping the agent before joining the call to give a summary of the customer in case you have backend integration with CRM. It can do anything under the sun. Basically, the limit is your imagination. So this bot can be used for all of those purposes as well. But for the purpose of this sample app, this bot just does the part of call routing. Now, again, just wanted to be basically wanted to highlight this particular part over here. As you saw in this sample app, we have coded it such that the bot basically calls these three folks in a round robin fashion. But it's up to you to decide what call routing logic you want to implement. We have graph APIs to check a person's calendar. You have graph APIs to check this particular person's available, busy, in a meeting status and all that, basically the present status. So based on that, you can implement your own custom routing logic and essentially have a call center solution built over here with this sample app as your base. I hope that particular part is very clear. This sample app, for all intents and purposes, is very basic. Even with all of its features, it's just scratching the surface on what you can do. Using this, you can build a lot more customization on top of it for your own customers and your own end users. So now that we saw all these wonderful things, just wanted to highlight what scenarios can you use the sample app for. There are different industries where this would apply. The common theme across all of these areas is this sample app is going to bring to life a lot of B2C scenarios where one leg of communication, the user does not have a Teams license, the user is not a business user, the user will not have a Teams app installed. That's one leg. Whereas the other leg has a business user who has Teams license, who has Teams app, and so on. You want to bring both these parties together, then this app would be the backbone of the scenario. Now, with that crux, for a finance and banking industry, this could be a call between a relationship manager and a bank's customer, say high net worth individuals talking to a banking relationship manager. In a healthcare, the business user would be a doctor, whereas the citizen user would be a patient. In a retail, it could be anyone who does a virtual shopping. They like a product, they want to get on a call to quickly see as maybe a dress on a video call and then ask the agent to some questions about a particular product. You can have it in retail as well. In insurance, again, this is going to be kind of like an insurance policy sales agent and the customer. Even in government, you can have ACS integrated on the government's website, where if citizens want to get in touch with their local council party members and so on and ask questions around, say, COVID or any other emergency things that are going on. So getting in touch with the business end users right from the website or right from the mobile app they are on, this app would be the backbone and be extremely useful. I think the link for this app has already been posted. The ACS SDK that we have used is available as part of the documentation. We made use of this particular group calling Hero Sample to enable this, and we did the magic of making it interoperable with Teams. Any questions, do let me know, post it on the chat. I'm happy to take it up. I hope this was useful for you, and really looking forward to this getting customized and building more awesome apps.
Awesome. Thank you, Satya. Very, very cool stuff. Really appreciate the way you were concise in sharing that as well. The videos were very helpful in seeing it live and in living color. Excellent. Thank you to all of our presenters today, Natalie, Wong, Marcus, and Satya. Really appreciate you taking the time, and all of our attendees. Thank you for joining us today. The recording will be available in 24 hours at the Microsoft 365 Community YouTube channel, aka.ms/M365PNP/videos. You can always follow us on Twitter, Microsoft 365 Dev and M365 PNP. The next general dev call will be 2 weeks from today, August 5th, same bat time, same bat channel, 7 a.m. Pacific time. We can see you next week for the SharePoint Framework call, July 29th at 7 a.m. Pacific as well. You can always get to all the other developer community calls via these links, or of course, the magical aka.ms/M365PNP primary landing page will take you to the listing of all these community calls, as well as we'll be adding that new Power Platform community call as well. Thank you everyone for attending. I hope you have a great rest of your week and a wonderful weekend. Thanks everybody.